What's going on, guys? I hope you are well and warm, kicking it flat today, baby, because we have got some things to talk about. And what is that? We've got some sex indicators on our plants in the VGrow by VGrow. And I wanted to talk about it. Unfortunately, I can't show you what those sex traits look like on our plants because unfortunately I can't even have a conversation around canna without either being heavily suppressed, age restricted, or more. So I'm going to do my best to describe it with some pictures to kind of illustrate my ideas and my thoughts. I'm growing in the VGrow box by VGrow. I know you guys are familiar with this. This is the self-contained grow box by VGrow that essentially takes care of everything. It does the lighting, it works on the circulation, the humidity, the temperature, and it even has a wick system for watering right inside of it. So you just place the plant in, and through the wicking system, it keeps it hydrated. Over the course of the last 2 days, I've been kind of asking myself, do we have any indicators as to whether we've got a male or we have a female? Well, I went into the tent yesterday and sure enough, we've got some indicators and it's not great, but it doesn't mean it's the end of the road. What do I mean? Well, I went into the VGrow box yesterday and after Rob, Chris, and I were talking a little bit, we were trying to figure out what kind of ratio of males to females do we have with our FTS Crossed with Swank Genetics project. And so I decided to take a look. And when I did, I realized that I also had a couple males. If you recall, I planted 9 seeds into the tents. Actually, correction, I planted 10 and 9 of them popped up. And of the 9, 3 of them are now showing me some male sex indicators. And that is the pollen sacs that protrude out of the nodal area from the plants. Now, I'm only 18 days from pop. Some might think this is a little too early to be able to identify pre-sex indicators. But the reality is in a lot of genetics, now's the time to check them out. I have not been doing any training. I haven't been doing any manipulating, any feed or light depth. So really the stress level on these plants have been rather low. I would wager that if I was to put a little bit of stress on these, start to bend them over, top them, do whatever, I would start to see those pre-sex indicators a little bit earlier because it does tend to show the more the plant's in stress. However, because there is no stress, I'm seeing 3 males popping through right now. And I'm confident that they're males because of the signs that I'm seeing. Now, are there more males? There could be. They could be a little slower to produce, but generally speaking, I'm actually pretty confident that the 3 that are now showing males will probably be the only males, and then the other 6 will be females. But how do I know? Well, the reality is that it's actually quite simple to see the difference between a male and a female plant. And I'm going to break it down for you. Because I am unable to actually show you the plant for whatever reason, I simply cannot show you the plant without getting age restricted, and then only 6 of you seeing this video. So I have to do my best to describe it. I'm also going to use this very complicated program that was sent down to me via NASA from an interstellar gardening project to ensure multiplanetary life habitat. It's a program that's been given to me, and I will use it to try to illustrate the difference between a male and a female plant. This right here, through the power of Zoom, would be a good indicator of a female plant. The reason for this is because you see the calyx protruding out of the nodal area between the stem and the leaf, but in that calyx, or protruding from that calyx, you'll start to see 2 white off yellow hairs. Those hairs are considered pistils, and these are what are the early signs of being able to reproduce, or at least collect pollen that are produced from the males so that it can now pollinate itself to produce seeds. The difference between a female and a male plant is this. The main difference between a male and a female plant is this right here. Often at the nodal area, you're going to see the female reproductive parts, which will throw pistils, the off-white yellow kind of hairs that come from the calyx. But on a male, you'll start to see these kind of nuts, these pulps, these bulbs that are kind of protruding out from another stem. Well, this is a great indicator that you have a male plant. Now, often some males male pollen sacs and some female calyxes can look very similar in the early stages. That's why sometimes it's in your best interest to kind of wait a week to ensure that those balls or those sacs or those pulps don't turn into or don't start protruding hairs. So you're generally not going to have pollen production for the first couple weeks that the plant is in flower / early veg. So you don't really have anything to worry about. But being vigilant and catching these in the early stages will be the difference between spending too much time on a male, spending not enough time on a female, and or putting too much effort, energy, time, money, food into a male that you simply don't need. Unless, of course, you're looking for males. But generally speaking, we're not looking for males. The reason I wanted to go over this very simple, very basic explanation of males versus females is because you don't have to wait a very long time to start to see those indicators. As I mentioned, I started to see those indicators at day 17 from pop. So I know some people use organizations or companies that'll help to identify the sex of the plants earlier and give you a more definitive answer. I would recommend that. You using your eyes, using your own abilities is going to have its limitations because, of course, some, like I mentioned, some of those calyxes and those bulbs will look very similar. Some genetics might not even show pre-sex indicators before you transition to flower. So having these programs that'll determine the sex of your plants before they start showing will work quite a bit. I know Farmer Freeman, I think, is one of the companies that will help determine sex for you. But for now, you don't need any tests. You don't need to do any additional work. You can do so by just getting in nice and close to those stems and looking at the internodal area to determine, is it male or female? That's what I've got growing on in my VGrow by VivoSun. I am so excited to see how these go, whether it's male or female. I'm going to just churn and burn. I'm going to remove that male, insert a female or insert another clone, and we're just going to run it, baby, because we've got a project here and we're trying to get the best of the best. If you have any questions, any comments, concerns in identifying male versus female reproductive parts, leave a comment down below. You can even hit me up on my Discord. I also have a Discord. I'll leave a link for that in the description where you can ask plant questions, so on and so forth. If you want to come ask questions live, I'm live every single day, pretty much twitch.tv/pigeons420. Come join the conversation. I appreciate you guys for watching. I appreciate you for listening. Much love. Stay medicated and happy searching for whatever it is you're looking for. Peace.